in reference to the hurricanes. I'm like, I guarantee we're talking about it.
The theory is that you can push these storms with frequencies, which I think they've proven can be done before in previous experiments.
Some of it could be true, and maybe is to a degree, but there's so much bull.
We talked about last show Project Cirrus, which was the very first known publicized weather manipulation of a hurricane, specifically a hurricane. A ball on his lawn smoking. And everybody in the comments was like, that's dry ice. And again, I don't know the validity of this post.
North Carolina, and there was a helicopter coming
I've got it
in
linked
to make a landing, and it looks like it washes out all the supplies. It looks like it's coming in for landing. It says, you know what, too much debris flying.
The grand question comes back to something that John always says is why? Like, what's the point, right? The whole premise of modifying this storm, there's a company, it's like Aberley Mining or something like that, and they just inked a $90 million deal for this lithium deposit to start mining. This is one of, if not the largest lithium mines on the planet. They inked this deal. The residents, the neighboring residents, they were not going to sell their homes. They were not in favor of this mining. The government can come in, buy up all the property, the destroyed property from a natural disaster for pennies on the dollar.
Eminent domain is a real thing, especially if it's in national security. When you're talking about those chips being manufactured here in the United States, that is a real cause for national security. And if we have the ability to do that, the government can absolutely go in and say, I'm sorry, here's $200,000 for your house, but this is ours now. Wait, should that money have ever been there in the first place, or should that go to f***ing Americans? And then that goes back to the larger point of people don't trust their government. Show 40. Let's go. All right. I unfortunately had a lot of good stuff tagged in video.
Bring it.
I can't.
Can't bring it.
I can't. I left my hard drive at the station. So unfortunately, you're not going to get any of my pearls of wisdom and gold.
We can still talk about it.
We could talk about it, but we're going to rely heavily on your video content.
That's
today.
bad. I don't have a whole lot.
So we haven't done a show in a week and a half now.
Yep.
And as always, I feel like there's just too fucking much to talk about. There is actually a ton. I don't even know where to go. So I'm going to let you decide where we start.
I have a couple random things I'll probably start with. I was on vacation with the kids, fall break, went to California.
Oh yeah,
it's
San
good,
Diego?
man. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. Every time I go, I think of Shark Week, and I think about you and the sharks last time we went.
Dude.
But we were in the water. Nobody got eaten, thank God. But I didn't have a ton of time, and everything I found, like I was doing this whole super deep dive further on Hurricane Helene. And
somebody asked me at the table last night, he's like, hey, you guys going to talk about cloud seeding, weather control? I'm like,
we already did. We did last show. Adam didn't even remember us talking about Project Cirrus.
In reference to the hurricanes, I'm like, I guarantee we're talking about it.
Yeah, so I've got way more info than I should have about that, and a couple things that come along with that are actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Milton's made landfall last night.
Milton's making landfall. I think the last I saw this morning was there's 6 reported dead. Does that sound right?
From Milton?
From Milton.
Helene?
From Milton.
I don't know.
Helene, it's unknown. They think that
there's like a couple hundred dead.
So
right?
yeah, the last I saw was they're reporting 200 dead, but the people they were reporting thousands. Allegedly they're running out of body bags and whatnot. But
is this a COVID thing all over again?
So
we got freezers, we're stacking bodies.
Dude, that's misinformation.
I'm so burned out on this because I've been looking into so many different angles, and the conspiracy side of things, which we'll get into and kind of talk about, what the people are saying and what's factual and what's not. And then the other side of that, combating the quote unquote misinformation, disinformation, and the conspiracy theories. I am at a point where I'm like, God damn, does everything, and you know me, I love the conspiracy theories. I love critical thinking. I love.
You're getting to where I'm at.
I'm getting to the point where I'm just overwhelmed and burned out. It's like how many. And some of them could be very well true, and some of them may not be. But I'm to the point where I'm like, holy shit! Like everything becomes this big conspiracy, and I'm like, I don't even know where to look anymore. Like it's overwhelming.
The reason it's so overwhelming is you say some of it could be true and maybe is to a degree, but there's so much bullshit you have to seep through.
And I don't even think it's bullshit. I think that things happen, and at face value, people go, oh, look, gotcha, that's it. But when you look at like some of the other bigger picture, it's like, well, there's a reason for that if you pay attention to the broader scale.
They take that one instance and then they attach a much larger story to it and make connections. Like there's a guy on our job that made a post that basically said that Doug Emhoff is the reason that Helene made landfall.
So, and I know I can tell you that was one of the conspiracy things, and I will get into that.
I looked into that one.
I did too, and you can't prove that that's true.
It's nothing. It's all hearsay nonsense.
So anybody who doesn't know, Doug Emhoff is Kamala Harris's husband.
He is not Dr. Evil.
He made the hurricane?
Yes. He didn't necessarily.
How does one man make a hurricane, though?
Well, when you are the primary stakeholder of BlackRock, which he is fucking not.
He's not. Well, and if he is, you can't trace it to prove it.
It's not. He's not. The primary.
It's Vanguard.
Well, the largest stakeholder is Larry Fink, I believe, the CEO, and then Vanguard, I believe.
And then Vanguard is 6%, but then you're like, okay, well, who owns Vanguard? Vanguard is owned by like 37 different companies that are their main investors for hundreds of billions of dollars. So like you'd have to go back and trace who these companies are. Not just one guy of Doug Emhoff is this criminal mastermind, but that's one of the things floating around out there is that they made this happen. And again, I'll kind of get into why. So,
well, and they also say with a swipe of a pen, he can give all mining, with the one swipe of Kamala Harris's pen, he can give mining rights to this company. I'm like, no, she can't do that.
Right.
She can't fucking do that. If she was president, she can't. And as sure as fuck as vice president, she can't.
So we talked about a couple things last show.
Start the whole thing. Yeah, go from the square one.
So from last show, we got into Hurricane Helene, and we talked about how people were thinking that this possibly was conspiracy because of the path that the storm took. So allegedly, this had mathematically, this had a smaller eye of a storm for how big that it got. And at one point, this was 100 miles inland. It took a sharp veer, and it was somehow still gaining size, even though it was no longer over the water, which that's been the big thing for a lot of people. There's been images surfacing of NEXRAD and the Dopplers reading, and they're showing these pulsing waves coming from more western of the storm, kind of around like east of Texas, kind of the Georgia area, and it shows these pulsing waves pushing the storm northeastern across more land.
Did anybody track Doug Emhoff's movements?
Yeah, exactly. So the NEXRAD thing, I've tried to dive into that and try to look at some of the Doppler. You can go into NOAA and NOAA and some of the
National Oceanic.
Yeah, you can go into all their stuff and you can read their archive things. You can look at their Doppler equipment. I have been unable to go locate that exact image on my own of the NEXRAD Doppler and the waves. The theory is that you can push these storms with frequencies, which I think they've proven can be done before in previous experiments. We talked about last show Project Cirrus, which was the very first known publicized weather manipulation of a hurricane, specifically a hurricane. We talked about how they did that, dropping dry ice into the storm and then monitoring where it went. And from that, the storm took almost a similar pattern to Helene, which is why everybody is referencing this Project Cirrus of the storm manipulation.
But they weren't able to control where the hurricane went.
Correct. They weren't able with this modification experiment. But in doing so, the storm took the first storm, and I can't remember the name of the storm. I want to say Ian, but I don't know if that's right. But it took a 135-degree shift and made its way over land. And then one of the lead scientists of this storm, Adam, I don't know if you remember this from last show or not, because we were kind of talking about this. He came out, it was from GE Labs, and he made a statement saying, I firmly believe that the reason that it made those changes and it took that path was because of our experiment. And so there was this whole big public backlash. They were going to sue, this whole big deal. But
not like it took this path like we caused it to veer this way. It just went a different direction.
It changed direction because of the manipulation, but they didn't control it to make it do that. So, the threat of lawsuits ensued. Another researcher from this deal, he tasked 3 of his weathermen to go back in history and go back and look at storms. And they were able to publish a report saying that, in fact, there has been storms prior to these that have done this, that have followed the same path, similar paths, and it wasn't necessarily from the storm. So it all kind of died down, and it was, the weather manipulation projects died down publicly, but for 11 years they did it kind of in silence. And then I want to say it was in the 60s or something like that, they came back with Project Storm Fury, which was the next publicized, weather manipulation of hurricanes. But in that 11-year silence, they were still conducting experiments. They weren't just advertising it publicly. So one of the things with Helene is interesting is, and I'll kind of start at the end is well, with Milton, I should say, is people are posting pictures of in Florida of Milton. There was one, and again, I don't know the validity of this post. This could have been completely staged. We talked about the weight room guy. You know, people stage things for Instagram. They stage these incidents. They stage these videos because they want drama.
It's
and
all
clicks,
about
right?
clout.
So
Got to get them clicks.
But conspiracies are no different. So this was a man in Florida where Milton has made landfall, and he was recording his yard, and the rain's coming down, and something in the grass was smoking. And so he walked over with his phone and he videoed it, and he was videotaping this thing, and it's something, a ball on his lawn smoking. And everybody in the comments was like, that's fucking dry ice.
Did you like the video?
I didn't. That's, it was one of the newer ones.
But dry ice, like you drop it at 10,000 feet and make it to the ground.
I don't know. I don't know. But
it hails, right? So ice can get to the ground.
It can make it, and if it's cool enough, I would imagine.
But I mean, is it still dry ice at that point?
I would imagine. I mean, think about a chunk of dry ice in.
Okay, but also just again, hearsay. Somebody on
Sure,
a video
but
said,
imagine
that's
you
dry ice.
put dry ice in, say, a tub for Halloween. It'll bubble and smoke for a long ass time.
Have you seen videos from Miami just when there's a storm surge, not even a hurricane, just like the sea level rises?
Yeah.
It almost looks like water spouting out of the ground in Miami.
So yeah,
it's a swamp.
So again, like it's hard to know if people were saying, "Hey, man, they're running that dry ice deal over Milton over the storm to make it bigger," because that was what they've seen before with the weather manipulation is making these hurricanes bigger. The grand question comes back to something that John always says is why. Like, what's the point, right? The why of it. So that was just kind of interesting, just to touch on that with Cirrus. There's people posting those pictures. It's unknown if it's real or not.
I think it's pretty cool that all these people hung up their molecular geneticist, fucking biological hats, you know, go on from COVID and the vaccine, and now they've put on their meteorologist hat and are telling us everything that's going on. I appreciate that information.
But I would say to the lay person, if you look at Helene, which we'll get into in a second, and you go back and you have somebody saying, oh, look, Project Cirrus did the same thing, Project Storm Fury. They've done it before. The government's done it before. I think there's such a large population of people, and the left will tell you it's all the conservative MAGA Trump supporters that believe in conspiracies, but there's such a large a group of people that distrust our government.
That's what it is.
That distrust the narrative. And I think that anytime you can link a connection possibly to something else, and we talked about this before, the reason I enjoy and I'm entertained by conspiracy theories is the potential of, the thought of, the possibility of. I think I take it as entertainment value, and now obviously do way more research on it. But I think there's some people that it's not entertainment value and cause for research; it's gospel. So when you tell somebody something happened, or you give somebody these plausible, crazy conspiracy theories, but you link one piece of evidence, people go, "Oh my God, that's exactly what it is," instead of doing their own research.
Which is like another post I saw. It was in North Carolina. And there was a helicopter coming
I've got it linked
to make a landing. And it looks like it washes out all the supplies. It looks like it's coming in for landing. It says, you know what, too much debris flying. And everyone's like, look, they're destroying our supplies. They're trying to wipe this out. But then in another video, somebody shows like, no, dummy, here's that almost exact. It's the same looking helicopter, but it lands and fucking drops off supplies.
Yeah.
Same unmarked fucking black helicopter.
Yeah.
Maybe not the same one, but one just like it in the same area.
So one of the things we didn't cover last show about Helene specifically, and the reason that there is so much buzz around the conspiratorial side of things is because the whole premise of modifying this storm and genetically, manipulating this storm is the background of that is there's a company, it's like Aberley Mining or something like that, and they just inked a $90 million deal for this lithium deposit to start mining out of it was South Carolina or North Carolina, one of the two. Yeah. But they're saying that this is one of, if not the largest lithium mines on the planet, and that if they set up mining operations here, that it would be the third largest mining operation in the world, and that lithium would lead to the microchip, microprocessor, all of that industry, which obviously we have the Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing chip plant here as well. So, but they were saying that they inked this deal, and that if the storm comes in and destroy the residents, the neighboring residents, they were not going to sell their homes. They were not in favor of this mining because of all the residents. So what they're saying is by genetically modifying this hurricane that happened on its own, but if they can control it and help it destroy an area that they needed, that what the government can come in, buy up all the property, the destroyed property from a natural disaster for pennies on the dollar, get the residents out of there, and now they've got the mine right set up rights.
I think already, and like there's case studies of this everywhere. First of all, the government doesn't need to try to buy stuff at pennies on the dollar. We just make more money.
Yeah, exactly.
We've proven that time and again. Money's no object to the U.S. government. Second of all, eminent domain is a real thing, especially if it's in national security. When you're talking about those chips being manufactured here in the United States, that is a real cause for national security. And if we have the ability to do that, the government can absolutely go in and say, I'm sorry, here's $200,000 for your house, but this is ours now.
Yeah.
They did it. I had multiple friends that lived along the 101. I think I've talked about this before. They came in and said, we're buying your house. A freeway's coming here. You can't stay. There were some people that wanted to stay in this neighborhood. And they're like, no, we're buying your house.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, especially for something that fucking big.
Yeah.
That may be the biggest lithium in the world.
But I think that's the part that people don't understand. People don't understand that they don't need to create these catastrophes to kill and wipe out hundreds, if not thousands of people.
Not even close to
needing to try to spin it so that they can get this land and no one's going to fight them.
Okay, but devil's advocate on that though, wouldn't coming in and doing the whole eminent domain?
Eminent, I believe.
Eminent domain. Yeah. Wouldn't that make the government look bad as opposed to, well, the houses are destroyed.
Maybe.
Might as well buy them.
And that's
throwing out like a reason there.
I don't think so, because they do it all the time.
But that's another thing though, is those states are being called swing states. You got Florida, you got the Carolinas, you got Georgia. Those are swing states, and this is election year and it's October. So if they came in and just bought them all out, but then the question would be, well, then why wouldn't they just wait until January and buy it then?
Because it's the October surprise.
It's Hillary talked about it.
I just don't buy into that at all, because the
Surprise
government,
hurricane.
Again, like if you are talking about the biggest, we'll just say it's the biggest lithium mine in the world, or deposits where they need to mine, right?
Yeah.
That is a very easy case for the government to say, I'm sorry, but this is ours now.
Yeah.
We need this for the nation. This is
for the good of the country clause.
It honestly is. Like, if you think about it, if you want to get off of depending on these fucking wars, proxy wars we fight in Africa to get resources, if you want to get away from Chinese manufacturing, we need shit in this country.
Yeah.
And if you say, hey, we can do it by taking this, that's a fucking no-brainer.
Yeah.
And most people, aside from the people that live there, will say, good idea.
I mean, fair enough. I would say that's the smart move.
So Adam, if you want to pull up B1, so this is the unmarked black helicopter that Johnny was talking about. So this is somebody's video here. And basically what this is an unmarked black helicopter coming into an area that's already been identified as a supply zone where they were collecting supplies. Mm-hmm. They were trying to land. At first they were just flying around, and the people on the ground were telling them, no, you cannot land here. They hovered for a little bit. They were almost like they were surveilling what was going on. They've been there for a while. And then at the very end, they come down and kind of rotor wash, and you see them blowing around supplies. Now the audio to this, you can hear the people on the ground saying, what the fuck are they doing? Why are they still here? What are they doing? And why are they dipping down? They can see that there's nowhere to land. And then all of a sudden they spray, and the guy's like, dude, what the fuck? People are going to get hurt. So this was one of the videos surfacing of this black helicopter. This lady who took it, she's running a dog team of search dogs there. You can see it hovering around for quite a while.
Maybe looking for a place to land.
Could be looking for a place to land. But they had set up a base of operations here, and this is where obviously you can see there's tons of vehicles, tons of supplies all over the ground. And then towards the end of the video, you can see them rotor washing all the supplies they blow.
And it doesn't, like, it just blows away like loose leaf paper. It's not like the water went away or the food, like, that's nothing. Have you ever been near a helicopter that's about to land?
Yeah.
Like, especially
we've
when
set up an LZ at Squaw Peak all the time. I mean,
if they want to wash shit away, they can do it.
Yeah.
That looked like, hey, let's try to find a spot to land. Like, oh, too much debris here. Move along.
Do you think if it was an established place though, they'd have a landing zone already?
You would think.
You know what I mean?
You would think. Now,
I feel like if
keep in mind, this is a natural disaster. This is, this
I don't know protocol, but I would say
you're also counting on FEMA to have all their shit together.
Which clearly, I don't know.
The past would say they're not fucking exactly on the same page.
God.
So, and we'll get into some of that too, and why that's a big deal. But Adam, if you want to go to B4 now following this. So the North Carolina National Guard posted an apology statement taking accountability for that exact helicopter.
Okay.
Nope, that's not it.
Is this not it? Oh, sorry, that's wrong one.
There you go. So the North Carolina National Guard is aware of an incident involving a NCNG UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter during a delivery of generators at the request of a local civilian organization to power their distribution outpost in western North Carolina. While attempting to land, rotor wash caused items to blow away from the local distribution set up by a group of civilians in the area. The crew immediately identified the situation, aborted the landing for safety reasons, and departed the area. This incident is currently under investigation, and the crew has been grounded until the investigation is complete. The NCNG is working with the identified local civilian organization to assess the level of damage caused by the rotor wash.
From that video, everyone in the comments was acting like
Yes.
they lost everything.
Yes.
They were F-250s were flying away.
And maybe there was more, maybe it was a different incident. All I know is that specific incident has sparked a lot of outrage. That's the video that I've seen circulating. But then to see that the North Carolina National Guard issued that statement claiming a responsibility, it's just one of those things, again, that I saw that. I'm like, holy shit, they did hover around there for a while. And yeah, that looks intentional what they did. But then you see their apology letter. And again, could that still have been on purpose? Could this be saving face? Sure. But the question would come back to why, right? Why would they blow on purpose?
And not even that much stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can see the pallets of water still just sitting there. Like all the other shit. Like it blew away water in tents. Like,
yeah. So on B5, Adam, was that the next one you pulled up? So this is a video of a Tennessee resident talking about FEMA. And this is kind of the sentiments of the people on the ground currently.
what's FEMA?
The Tennessee Emergency.
You're going to have to just excuse my appearance because we have no power.
No, fuck that. Get your shit
water,
together, bitch.
But I'm just
You're on
so
video.
pissed off that I've got to make this clear. We got a notification from FEMA. I'm guessing that's FEMA for Tennessee. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's supposed to be the disaster relief people. But they were like, do not donate your time. We don't want you to donate time unless we ask for you. And we don't want you to donate stuff to other people. You need to just donate money and stuff to us and get your instructions from us and listen to us. What? And then they said yesterday, we don't go into areas that the roads are not easily accessible. What? You are the disaster relief people. Like, that is your job, to go into the areas that are hit by disaster and provide relief. Not to just go to the easy area and sit and wait for the people that are in the disaster area to be able to come to you.
You can cut it out.
The road.
So basically, this is one of many, but this is a video of, this is a Tennessee resident, and she's talking about TEMA, the Tennessee Emergency Management Association, and she's saying that they came in and were telling these people, you need to give your donations to us. And there's multiple videos and multiple posts of people saying that they have been told, you donate money to us, you give to us, don't give to each other. Civilians don't help each other out.
I would like to see the actual wording of that.
Sure.
Because I can understand people in a bad situation getting outraged and making a little,
Yeah. Well, and they're
exaggerating.
So they're
for lack of a better term.
saying, hey, stop flying drones looking for people, stop the civilian flying of aircrafts. And so they're being told these things. And at face value, if you're there trying to do something good, I'm sure that looks very bad. But when you think about the logistics of trying to organize this and keep track of who's who and what's where, there is a level of, I can understand why you'd say, hey, let's ground all the aircraft until we can figure out, we know who's going, what's where. You don't want to create more victims, more,
Well, that's exactly what so I've seen stuff like this, and obviously I jumped into it and started to do some research on it. But like from the federal side of things and the emergency management side of things, their logic is, think about us, right? Like, if we're on a fire, we don't need the next door neighbor.
I don't need you taking the
kicking
plug for
doors.
Get out of the way. Let the
knocking
professionals handle it.
Like,
Sure.
Like, thank you,
Sure.
but stay in your house.
Right.
You know
What are you
I mean?
talking about? There's a building on fire. You need all the people
You know what I
can
mean?
get.
They start running in. I'm gonna get the dog. It's
Yeah.
like it creates more problems for us. So from the emergency management side, the logic I've seen is we need to keep track of everything. So we don't want any variables. We don't need, Jimmy Dean and his chainsaw clearing roads, because what if a tree falls on him and now we got a dude trapped under a tree with a chainsaw?
It makes total sense.
So I kind of get it.
I do. I get the concept.
I also get
from
their
the management
I get
side.
their outrage. too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's people helping people in their community, and they're being told to stand down when they, there's people who have been without water and food and anything for 6 days, 7 days, and they're
You'd think there'd
they're
be a
dying.
wing of the emergency management for like volunteer labor. You'd think there'd be,
and I bet there is
a wing of that for come to us and we will put you to work if
and
you
it
want.
sounds like that's what they were trying to do. And she was like, they want us to go through them for everything, and that's not the case.
But like, I get it from a management side of things.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean,
I mean, it's understandable.
Doesn't mean you
right.
can't go help your neighbor.
Sure.
Doesn't mean that at all.
Yeah,
They're not going to come in with fucking
No,
the
they're
National
not gonna
Guard and say,
shoot
get back
you
to your
for-
fucking
And you're talking
house.
about the Appalachian Mountains, where I mean, it's not easily traversable. It's not like they're just driving. And she
This
even
shit's slow sometimes.
she even
man. It's
says
slow.
like they were cutting down the trees that were blocking the roads, and you still need a truck to get through there. But these people are telling them like, we can't access that area. We have to access these other areas. So,
especially if you're setting up supply points. Like, I need a large, accessible area. I can't set up a supply depot in the fucking sticks, you know?
Sure.
Sorry, I can't.
So while that all makes sense, another thing that lends to the conspiracy side of there's something else going on, which is easily compatible from talking about it and looking at it from the viewpoint of like we are right now. There's a guy named Chris Martinson. This is going to be B10 through 16, Adam. So he's got a PhD in biochemistry. He's got an MBA from Cornell. He worked for Pfizer. He has a viral video series called The Crash Course. But he shares some texts that were sent to him via his site. I don't know if it's his website or what, but basically, if you want to go to the next one, Adam. So this is somebody texting him saying that they can't post this online because it's not quite public yet. But government officials had a town meeting with all the residents of Chimney Rock and basically told them that the town was being bulldozed, bodies and all, and the land was being seized by the federal government. They would not be able to move back, and basically their homes, the ones that were standing, were no longer theirs, and the federal government owned all of it. I don't know what crazy play for land this is, but there's a lot of conspiracy about lithium mines. And let me just tell you, as someone who lives in Charlotte and has friends who live in the area of Western North Carolina, they are not being helped, and this is actually being a stand-down operation by federal government. So you can kind of go through those. But basically, he says, what? There's, is this firsthand info, secondhand info, and the person gets back to him and says that that they're not collecting the bodies, they're leaving the bodies, they're basically just bulldozing it all and taking it all. And so you have other people on the back end of this thread posting saying, hey, I live near there. Is that true that that's happening? What can I do to help? There's other people coming in and saying, hey, I work for whatever division of the National Guard. They deployed 1,000 of us here yesterday. They won't let us leave. We're waiting on orders. They won't give us the orders. Even though we're here, we're being told to stand down, which they've got to wait for. There's a chain of command.
Who's being told? I'm sorry, I missed that.
I want to say it was. I want to say they were either Army or National Guard. I think they were National Guard.
That fucking happens all the time.
But they were there they had 1,000 troops, and they were begging for help, and the residents are begging for all the help, and they were saying, hey, like, we have to wait for our orders. We don't know how it works.
What about this one? It says multiple truckers have reported having tires slashed. What the fuck?
Yeah, and people who are delivering supplies are getting robbed at gunpoint on the road, which
I believe that.
That makes total
absolutely
that
fucking
could be
believe that.
people stuck in the mountains who don't have
If I don't
anything,
have
they're
food and
saying,
water,
give me your shit.
if I don't have food and water, I'm taking yours.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But the reports of the truckers' tires being slashed,
Again, hearsay. Show me something.
right.
Like, don't just.
But the problem is you have people in a panic situation.
Yes.
You have people feeding into it with this.
Yes.
And so the governor of North Carolina and people have actually come out and said on the news, on media outlets, like, stop the misinformation, stop the conspiracy talk. You guys are making it harder for us to continue our relief efforts because of how crazy this is all going. We have to investigate all these different things, and you're taking time away from the recovery efforts.
That, to me, that makes a lot of sense. But on the other side of that, I think FEMA, TEMA, whoever needs to be better.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
I mean, considering they don't have a fantastic track record like we spoke of, people are already like, they're not helping.
Yeah.
Even though they might be doing all they can, but clearly they're underfunded for several different reasons and maybe don't have all the resources they need to help people that truly need it. And then you get the panic state, you get the misinformation, and then it gets even worse. Everyone's spun up.
Yeah. Adam, if you hit B2.
Especially when they say they're hearing that, wait, you're going to bulldoze my house and my fucking grandpa that's there?
Right. And even if they haven't been told that, they're hearing that from somebody else. Yeah.
Well, naturally, I'd lose my shit.
Of course.
Someone
then you're
told me that.
But then you're on the defensive for everything. Everything you don't believe.
Don't trust
anything.
anybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And then that goes back to the larger point of people don't trust their government.
Yes.
With good reason. I mean,
Sure.
Jesus Christ, can you fucking
Well,
blame
we
them?
find a way to put more government into everything all the time.
Yeah.
So Adam B2. So this is a letter from Representative Matt Gaetz to Mayorkas. Just to paraphrase real quick. So it says, my office has been in contact with whistleblowers in numerous emergency management functions at the federal, state, and local levels, and they all point to the same critical mismanagement issues. FEMA has wasted taxpayer funds, misappropriated funds, and left other federal, state, and local responders without deployment orders on the ground. So he basically says, here's a list of things I need to know right now. And so he sent this out. So you have these things that sound like conspiracy. You have these videos saying, hey, show me, like, oh, okay, you say you're a whistleblower. Oh, you know, show me this, show me that. But then you have this governor saying, I'm in contact with these
Gaetz
people.
is also pretty inflammatory with a lot of things he says.
Sure. And again, take it with a grain of salt, but you have somebody saying, I'm in contact with people at the federal, state, and local levels, and this is what they're saying to me.
Mm-hmm.
So
I definitely believe that funds have been mismanaged. They don't have enough funds. They don't have enough resources. For whatever reasons, there's a variety of reasons. You get into all the immigration. Is it Trump's fault? Is it Biden's fault? Whatever. You can get into whatever you want. I think they don't have what they need to do the job they need to do in situations like this. All the way back to Katrina.
Well, you have Mayorkas, I think it was Mayorkas, saying that
I think so.
We don't have enough funds to make it through storm season. FEMA doesn't have the funds.
He said
that was with Helene.
Yeah, that was before that.
That's what I'm saying. Before just that, just before Helene,
Where
and
did
now
all
you got
the funds go?
Milton hitting. Well, you have people saying that I don't know. In San Diego, they built a
San Diego.
Yeah,
sorry, I had to do it.
They built a migrant welcome center that was, I don't know, X amount of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
and so everybody's up in arms saying, "Oh, well, FEMA's given," and even Trump has said, FEMA is giving our money to the migrants or giving it to immigrants or using all their funds. That's why they're out of funds. When anybody who understands how money in the state or governmental system works is there's certain things that are earmarked for certain things.
It's all allocated.
That's
so
all
just because that 20 million or whatever dollars went to whatever doesn't mean they pulled that from the disaster management part.
No.
So, but that's how they're playing it up to sound.
But now you can make the larger point. Should that money have ever been there in the first place, or should that go to fucking Americans?
Exactly. Because it's the same argument when people say, like, well, we just sent X amount of $1 billion to Ukraine. Why don't we use that for veterans or whatever? But like, to your point, like, that's because it was earmarked for foreign aid and all that shit.
Right.
But
the
larger
earmarking
argument
should be fixed.
But check this out.
The larger argument is why
Biden administration, since the war started in Ukraine, over $100 billion to Ukraine, $10 billion to Israel, $157 million to Lebanon just a couple days before or during.
That was during the hurricane.
During $3 billion for the victims of Maui. $3 billion.
That's nuts, dude.
That for everything that went down in Maui, $3 billion.
And I don't understand why somebody higher up in government can't go, oh, I know this is earmarked for that, but you know what? Our people need it more.
Yeah.
Sorry, Israel.
We need to reappropriate.
We're going to take care of our people here.
I also
when do we come first?
Read that they're giving out like everybody's talking about the $750 thing. I heard that it's a loan.
No. So I read.
Is that not true?
No, it's not true. So I read on it. So you
more TikTok misinformation.
So
See,
I looked deep into this.
Everywhere, dude.
I looked deep in this. So it's not a loan. It doesn't have to be repaid. You do have to get approval for it, but it's basically a disaster. Like they front you the money and then you get to keep it, but it's in application for future monies from that. So they can get approved for more money than the $750, or they can be denied, but the $750 is theirs to keep no matter what.
I wonder how they landed on $750.
I don't know, but it has to do. The calculation had to do with like average provisions of like food,
gallon of milk,
food formula, necessities for like children. And I think that plays into what you qualify for.
For every man, woman, and child, you will get $750.
One pack of hot dogs.
For some of you, will get 3/4 of that money.
You will receive 3 eggs.
But meanwhile, you have all these videos surfacing of these illegal immigrants who have EBT cards with $13,000 on them for groceries.
It's unbelievable.
What the fuck?
It's like we've shifted our focus and we don't take care of them.
They're held up in hotels in New
me.
York City and shit. Like, come on.
Did you see that Trump put up like 300 linemen in one of his spots in Florida for free?
Yeah.
No.
Fucking badass, dude.
Awesome.
He's like, come stay at my place. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, I did see that.
Fucking awesome.
Plus, he raised a lot of money instantly for Helene. I can't remember how much. I want to say it was like $21 million.
Yeah, something crazy.
Like that. Hey, but Taylor Swift did give money too.
Yeah, but Taylor Swift.
Had a girl, Tay-Tay.
You know.
She is.
Fuck
She's
Taylor.
now. Hey,
I'll
when we
say it.
started our show, she just became a billionaire. She's now worth 1.6.
Less than a year, huh?
They're talking about how, like, this is just how money compounds when she gets that level.
Yeah.
But they were talking about how fast Elon Musk will become a trillionaire.
Yeah.
And it's not that long.
Yeah. It'll be in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's unreachable.
Huh? Did you watch his interview with Tucker?
I didn't watch that one yet. I've had
Pretty
so many
interesting.
interviews to
That
watch.
was a good one.
I'm so behind.
Dude, there's been so many. Just trying to watch the amount of interviews that Kamala Harris did in the past few days, I can't keep up with all this
Probably.
shit.
I was gonna say you're probably done in about 20 minutes. She didn't really do that much.
She did.
She did the 60 Minutes one.
She did Call Her Daddy. She did 60 Minutes. She did The View, and she did Colbert Show.
It didn't go that well for her, from what I understood.
60 Minutes was rough.
Yeah.
They actually
I saw some
asked
clips.
real questions.
Real questions.
You want to know what's fucked up about that, though, is they edited all those. When they put the
I
clips
saw.
on YouTube, they
Fucking
edited her answers.
pissed me off.
Huh?
60 Minutes did?
Yeah,
I think I sent you the video yesterday because I sent it with.
I didn't see yours
I
because I'd
sent
already
it with,
watched
how
one.
is this not election interference?
Yeah.
How is this not?
Well, because they also have the full interview out there if you want to see it. But when they clip it up,
But they
Get
splice
fucked.
it. They splice it in her favor?
they make it look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's
'Cause
one.
I saw the original. I'm like, oh, that's not good.
No,
for
and
her.
then they cut. I think it's probably from what I sent you. Because what I sent you, it's a 2-panel thing, and it shows the full answer and it shows the cut answer, and the cut answer makes her look like she knows what she's talking about, and it's like, oh, how is this not
That's
a
why
problem?
I had the real interview and the answers that she gave, and they were fucking shitty.
Next week,
Classic fucking Kamala word
Yeah.
salad.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't know what the fuck she's
No
talking
fucking
about.
clue.
She has no fucking clue. If you vote for her, my fucking God, you're only voting for her because you hate Trump. Because there's no possible way you could think she's a qualified candidate. She's ass.
Yeah.
At least Trump's been president before. Like at least we
Yeah,
know
you
he
have a
can
body
do
of
the
work to
job.
weigh
No,
against.
no.
You know what I
No,
mean?
this time it's going to be worse.
And
Adam.
nobody,
it's going to be so much
nobody
worse
got
this
put
time.
in concentration camps, and they didn't
This
kill
time
any
he's
Mexicans and all that shit.
He's
Everybody's
going
cool.
after all of his enemies this time.
Oh, this time
It
is different.
says in,
This
20,
time.
in
This time,
2025.
it's for real.
This time it's personal. Yeah, come on.
It says,
Even though-
it says it in the 2025 agenda.
That's not his, by the way.
Let's also not forget
Oh my God,
that
it's exhausting.
Hillary Clinton was his enemy, and he ran on lock her up. And then when
Did he lock her up?
when they were
No.
when they pressed him on it, he's like, "No, I didn't think that would be good."
No,
Like, because he's not going to do that.
no, because the precedent that sets is ridiculous.
Exactly.
It's
Joe
fucking
Biden.
exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Weaponizing
looking
the
at
justice
you,
system?
creepy Uncle Joe.
And then they'd love to say, "But he said he's going to be a dictator on day one." It's a
Listen to
fucking
the
joke,
fucking
first of all.
quote.
It's a fucking joke.
Listen to the next 8 words of the sentence
Yeah.
he says.
I'm going to be a dictator.
You
Just
dull
say, be on day
idiot.
one. Like, you can't even
Oh
make
my
a
God.
joke anymore.
I'm all pissed off now.
Don't get, dude. I have.
Better
That's
be pissed
why I-
off than pissed on. You know what I mean?
That's why I had my videos lined up in notes so I didn't get pissed off. I was like, okay, we're just going to go through this logically.
We're in trouble now.
Now I'm pissed.
Fuck. Yeah.
She's fucking terrible. Like, if you're voting for her because she's a woman, you're an idiot. If you're voting for her because she's black, you're an idiot. If you're voting for her because she's Indian, you're an idiot. If you're voting for her because she's a Democrat, you're a fucking idiot.
She might not be black though.
I don't care what she is. You're a fucking idiot if you vote for any of those identity
Candace
reasons.
Owens, shout out.
No.
Go check
She's
her out.
terrible.
Yeah.
I can't watch that Candace. It's like 10 hours.
Oh, I
It's
watched
so
all of
much.
it.
Yeah,
It's
you had to watch.
fascinating.
You had to watch it on
All
release
of
where
it.
they were.
I
showing.
watched all
Yeah.
of it. It was
It's
crazy.
I gotta
so
finish it.
much.
Her,
So,
yeah,
like,
her
she talked
grandma
to, like,
might
her
be the
grand-
help, but like we're not gonna talk about
Didn't
that.
she like talk to her grandpa in one of them? Or
her uncle?
Yeah,
She got a hold of him, and there's some pretty solid evidence that says the pictures in her book are her posing with the help at her family home. But what's crazy is Candace said, and then I'll get off the soapbox. I'm fascinated with the story. Candace said that her producer bought Kamala's book, which, by the way, is called The Truths We Hold, funnily enough. And there's pictures, right, of these people that may or may not be her family. Then Candace goes, all right, I got to buy my own copies. I do my own research. So she buys the copy of the book, but it had been edited because now the version that's available is the Young Readers Edition, which
Oh, that's
has
hilarious.
no pictures in it.
No shit.
There are no pictures.
Really?
She takes both books
Well,
and
are
goes, there's pictures in this one and there's not pictures in this
Well, is
one.
the OG version still available?
I don't know.
It's got to be.
Yeah, we gotta look that
and
up.
then there's pictures of her aunts and uncles. And it's so fucking obvious. In the picture, it shows Kamala and a couple of other people. And it's like, these are my aunts and uncles. But if you read the book, which nobody reads the book, everybody just looks at the fucking pictures and captions. It says, I called them aunt and uncle, but like they were just my mom's friends. Like they weren't real family. Like, but it's so
It leads you to believe one
yes,
thing.
it
Yeah.
leads you on to just, if you just look at the captions, it's like, oh, that's her grandma and that's her uncle. And it's like, no, that's the maid. That's her mom's best friend. Like, you know how you call your parents' friends uncle sometimes? Oh,
Yeah,
God. Okay, I got to stop or I'm
All
going
right.
to lose my fucking shit.
So
Back
let
to
me
Hurricanes.
finish. Yeah, let me finish with this.
Well, here's-
sorry.
no, I got last point. You can't even bring that up anymore because Sheriff Joe ruined it with Obama. the whole birther thing.
Yeah.
Now you're just a fucking raging racist.
Yeah.
You can't even question it. That's why it's good that Candace Owens doing it. Like if someone's black and questioning it, you can do it.
It's okay.
I'm not going to talk about it. Not my place.
Not a racist.
Hashtag not racist.
Hashtag not racist.
Let's get back on track.
So let me finish real
Back to
quick.
hurricanes.
Last couple of things with the hurricane
But
thing.
I digress.
So you have all these conflicting stories. Some people saying that, efforts are being withheld. Some people saying that they aren't. Some people saying that that's just the speed at which the government function takes place.
It's slow as fuck. Let's agree that government is slow as fuck.
enough.
So one of the other things people were pointing out is there's a video from a roundtable discussion recorded March of last year entitled "Helping LGBTQIA+ survivors before disasters."
It's insane.
So Adam B3.
Gotcha. I've seen this. This is
I think
crazy.
it is important to see.
LGBTQIA people and people who have been disadvantaged already.
Oh, that's a man talking?
are struggling.
Yeah.
The
Well, you
shift
don't know
that
how
we're
he
seeing right now
identifies.
is a shift in emergency management from utilitarian principles where everything is designed for the greatest good for the greatest amount of people to disaster equity. But we have to do
Disaster
more,
equity.
right? And
love
so this topic is intersecting, I think, with a number of other topics where we have to look at policies and understand to what extent they have disadvantaged communities that had less assets, communities that had pre-existing vulnerabilities in accessing disaster-related recovery supports.
Wait for it.
We also know that communities that are highly bonded within can survive in the immediate aftermath of a disaster.
Makes sense.
But if they're not linked outside of their highly bonded communities, they will have less ability to thrive and support and even influence how recovery looks in their communities.
Okay.
So we
Reasonable.
have to be looking at making sure that we have highly bonded communities, which would be, and one of them that I would identify would be LGBT communities, have to be highly linked across power structures before a disaster happens to help inform and guide how recovery looks. So there's policies in the immediate aftermath, there's norms in the industry itself. And I think a lot of emergency management personnel have a normed idea of, yeah, we know all these issues are really important, but is it always the role of emergency management to address those issues? That's not the topic at hand here. The topic at hand here is, are the policies that have been developed actually biased and in either benign neglect or intentional erasure of the specific communities that are probably most in need of those services?
You can kill it, Adam. So basically,
Shut up, Karen.
the point of that webinar is it's talking about the urgent need to move away from policies that benefit the greatest number of people and instead turn focus toward disaster equity, where aid is distributed based on innate characteristics like sexual orientation and gender identity.
Well, gay people suffer more in hurricanes than
because
straight
they're
people.
already a disenfranchised population.
I'm going to say something unpopular here. I agree. Right on, sister. What the fuck are you talking about? Help people. Help people.
So
Help the most people
You know what drives
can.
me nuts is the nuanced language. Like I can tell in the first 12 seconds that I don't
all
like
the
you.
buzzwords.
Well, it really depends on the level of equity that these individualized communities are experiencing in their time of. So shut the fuck up.
So we've talked about this before, but there's Executive Order 14008.
Is that the one where they kill all the Jedis?
That's what you asked last time. I said it.
66.
Is it the same one?
Which significantly influenced how FEMA operates, particularly in its approach to climate resilience and disaster response. There's 5 or 6 notable key changes, but one of them is equity and environmental justice. The order emphasizes,
I love that phraseology. That's amazing.
The order emphasizes addressing the needs of vulnerable communities.
That sounds really good, first of all.
FEMA is expected to prioritize equitable access to resources and support for those disproportionately affected by disasters.
First of all, that makes sense. That actually
Ensuring
makes
that
sense.
recovery efforts consider social and economic disparities.
You mean people like the Appalachian Mountains who are stuck and don't have access
Well, it's very
to...
vague language, isn't
It
it?
is very vague
Who
language.
decides who is the group?
Well, they do, Adam.
But the premise is
obviously.
the premise is if
They.
you have a larger amount of people suffered in a more affluent area versus a less amount in a less affluent area, or a notable LGBTQ plus community or anything like that. Like, they need to be helped first.
First of all, she said people that are in a cohesive community are able to weather the storm
and then she
more
says,
easily. Most
and then she says,
LGBTQ people,
like LGBTQIA,
So they should be good,
community.
is what she's saying.
they're good.
It should be all right.
They're good.
Super weird. So obviously people have been pointing that out.
You go down to the Willow District, they're going to be fine. They're all living together, right?
Yeah. So anyway, the whole thing, WRAL out of Raleigh.
WTF.
Yeah. WRAL out of Raleigh. They had an article about the hurricanes and relief efforts, and they were talking about, again, we talked about the misinformation or the conspiracy theorists, and they said experts who study conspiracy theories say big events like
me.
They're talking about us.
say big events like disasters or the September 11th attacks or the COVID-19 pandemic, remember that, create perfect conditions for conspiracy theories to spread because large numbers of anxious people are eager to find explanations for shocking events. Okay.
Didn't we just say that?
Hold on. Can we please go back to this quote and say that COVID-19 pandemic wasn't a fucking conspiracy? It's been proven on every single fucking front, on every level, to everybody who's asked any questions. It's not a conspiracy.
According to Dr. Fauci.
Holy shit.
The gospel according to Fauci.
So they're still quoting like, oh, these big disasters like September 11th or COVID-19. People love to just run with those because they're such disasters that there's no conspiracies involved. Oddly enough, that same exact article, same exact quote was in CBS and the Associated Press. Almost like it was.
I think we can agree, and we've talked about
narrative.
this many times, that there can be a disaster, completely natural, man-made, whatever, 9/11 terrorists. There can be that disaster, and then the government can still piggyback on top of that and take full fucking
What was
advantage.
that quote? Never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
I don't remember who said
Tragedy, I think.
That was
Never let a good tragedy go to
I can't
waste.
remember. It was
Hoover, was it?
No.
Or was it LBJ?
Did you say
think it was
Gruber?
Churchill.
Like Hans Gruber?
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Hans Gruber?
that what
Not
you-
Tommy Plaza?
Oh,
I thought you were talking about
never let the
Welcome to the party, pal.
McClan.
Best holiday movie ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely a Christmas movie. I'll die on that hill.
And Gremlins.
Whoever
You're
says
welcome.
it's not a Christmas movie is a fucking
Yeah,
idiot.
thank you.
You're a Kamala
Yeah.
voter.
Probably
Guaranteed.
Fucking white dudes for Harris.
So that was a long segment about Hurricane Helene. That's all I got pretty much to wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Adam, see if we can book Doug Emhoff. I got some
Yeah.
questions. I want to know
I'll
if he
give him
did
a
this.
call. He's free.
And another thing that I saw this morning too, just when I was looking at hurricane shit, there is more misinformation out there saying, "Oh, there's another hurricane that's on the exact same path as what's
That would
Milton."
be crazy.
But people started posting like, "No, look at the national hurricane. Like, there's nothing. There's no other storm." But somebody posts the exact
Just
same path.
fear-
okay,
fear-mongering.
okay, but
Yeah.
like if there was,
That'd be nuts.
would you be team conspiracy at that
Wait
point?
a minute, Doug.
Would you be team?
Doug,
Okay,
yeah.
hold on.
But this one's traveling over a lead and zinc mine, the biggest lead and zinc mine in the world.
Do we need lead and zinc? I feel like that's
When do you not?
Better to have than not have.
wait.
right?
Whatever we're gonna make chips out of or batteries. That's where we need to get the
A
next.
lot
storm.
of like mechanical pencils, right?
I love that Trump says Pennsylvania.
Zinc are in batteries,
like
I
it's
think.
spelled Pencil.
Pennsylvania.
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 In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in.
Oh wait, this isn't Pennsylvania.
It's
My
not
bad.
Pennsylvania.
Wrong button.
Anyway,
Yeah, man.
it's just a
They're
lot.
eating the dogs.
I come back to where I landed on this. I looked at a lot of. I didn't do the dive that you did, but I looked at enough to say like I don't think there's a conspiracy here. But what is a fucking problem is that America always seems to come last.
Yeah.
Everybody else gets
Amen.
the aid. The biggest slap in the goddamn face was them sending that money to Lebanon
During the hurricane.
during the hurricane, piggybacking on the money we give Israel to create that fucking situation in the first place.
After the quote of "We don't have enough money for storm season for FEMA," like we
got
said
enough
that.
money to
Yeah,
start war
let's
in the
keep
Middle
shipping
East,
it
baby.
out.
How about we have just a nice chunk of hundreds of billions of dollars here in America for Americans, not for,
Earmarked for us,
not for immigrants.
How does every company, everybody have a rainy day fund, but the U.S. doesn't?
we do?
Like
It's
literally
just for other
a
countries.
rainy day fund. Like how do we not have storm backup?
See what you did there.
Like that.
Genius.
We do, but it's for Israel and Ukraine.
It's their rainy day fund.
Yeah, it's not
Here.
ours. They get to have our tax dollars, not us. So fucking sick of the America last bullshit.
I had a follow up from the Vance Walls debate. I know you saw this. You probably have it linked too. But Adam, B7, 8, and 9. So the analysts did a comparison. Did you see this?
Why am I so much bigger than you in this? This is a problem.
That's what I'm saying. Your camera's always aimed up and mine's always aimed down. I'm always like in the lower frame.
You're literally twice my size in real life.
I'm never.
Actually, I do this on purpose just so I look bigger.
Right. Yeah.
I want to seem like I'm 6'6".
Okay.
270.
Just a fucking stack.
Just a shit.
Did you see this?
Brick shit house.
The comparison.
I did.
Adam, click the next one.
Oh, I fucking love it.
So the media claims that Vance's beard is anti-feminist and Walls' bulging eyes show passion. So yes, so they say that
or fear and confusion.
He's the first male in 80 years to have facial hair while running for a position in office. And while that's supposed to be a sense of power, people who are feminists believe that is anti-feminist. Whereas Walls' bulging eyes show his passion and trust. He's somebody. Look at that face. You telling me you could trust that?
That meme I sent you guys of, what was it? You when Chief asks for a sick note or something like a doctor's note. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Those eyes.
That's creepy.
That's fear, confusion, and utter disbelief on what's happening right now. Like I am in over my head. And what the fuck do I say now?
Borderline.
There's no passion.
Psychopath.
If you showed somebody just the eyes and said, what does this convey to you?
Fear.
Passion's not a word that would be thrown around.
You know what though?
I just shit my pants.
You're like, oh,
sharded.
That fart went a little too far.
Some of you are like, is that Biden
I
visiting
sat
the Pope?
on my balls. Like this is. That's the face you make. Like the sound of the dude whose beeper blew up and he.
Oh no!
You know who else had a beard? General fucking Grant.
Amen, brother.
Abraham
Lincoln.
Motherfucking
Lincoln.
Lincoln, dude.
You know what? A beard. I can't have a beard for our job. Neither can any of us.
Yeah.
But if I was allowed to grow a beard, I would grow one.
Amen.
I don't got a good stash.
I can't wait till you retire and grow a beard.
It'll be all gray by then.
That's all right.
Perfect. Run for office.
So there was that one, and then there was on the Rubin report.
I'll do that. What's that shit? That Grecian 5, the old shit that you just paint into your beard. It's like
hair color for
men. I don't
men.
know you can paint your face anymore.
Well, you can.
Just your
that
beard.
was the face.
Yeah,
Right?
Just a beard. That was the Wall's face. Terror. Gotcha, bitch.
Can we get that into the camera, John, just real quick? I'm going to need that.
We should do a crop side by side of his eyes. Next
Who
to
wore
Wall's
it better?
When someone calls you on your racist shit.
Yeah. B18. This was the Rubin report. They posted this, but this is the border czar montage, and this is basically the fact check. CBS fact checked Vance saying that they never called her the border czar.
Look at that misogynistic pig. That stupid fucking
How
beard.
dare he?
The only thing that she did when she became the vice president, when she became the appointed border czar, was to undo 94 Donald Trump executive actions that opened the border.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris.
Oh.
Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris,
CBS.
to be the border czar.
CNN.
Embarrassing.
And this will be her first visit to the
Politico said no, she's not the border czar. And like, no, here's your article.
Yeah, your
she was.
Fuck, this is not right. This is not cool. This is fucking bullshit.
Fact checking JD Vance.
On immigration.
Vice President Harris is now the Biden administration's point person
to oversee his administration's efforts to stem.
What did he say? Kamala Harris, the point person on immigration.
The point person and the
As in March of 2021.
Kamala Harris will lead the response to the border challenge.
They even titled her border czar out of a White House document.
I bet you couldn't find that.
Probably not.
Well, just like, I can't remember what the website was, but they would rank the most liberal and conservative senators year by year. And she was the most liberal senator. They wiped that page out of existence. Like, wow.
So I saw that. I thought that was pretty funny. Wanted to add that in there.
The least deserving person to ever run for president, in my opinion.
Agreed.
The least deserving. I don't care what you say. Call me racist. Call me fucking misogynistic. I don't fucking care.
Her answer to that
she just got appointed
in the 60 Minutes interview was incredible.
Yeah. Well, I was elected. The fact that Biden elected me.
All of the delegates,
the honor that comes with that.
They support me now.
A man who put country, first.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I grew up in a middle class family.
Yeah. Adam, how long? We get on time. How long?
We're sitting at about 52.
Right.
Holy shit!
That's what I'm saying. That Hurricane Helene bit was long.
Time flies, dude.
All right,
I'll cut that out.
Let's.
CIA. Did you see the biggest CIA snafu? We thought it was a snafu. I got an explanation. Adam,
Maybe.
B5.
Go.
So this was the CIA's homepage. Notice anything weird about that?
It's in Chinese.
Yeah, all Chinese. And the middle one
Something
looks
else.
like maybe Arabic.
Arabic or something.
Mm-hmm.
So Adam sent this to me. I saw this, and he sent me a deal. And
I can see that they're putting videos in different languages. I get okay.
every one of their links off their homepage, he was like, "Hey, what the hell?" So he Google translated it.
This is their
I did the
IG
whole
page,
thing.
right?
This is their YouTube.
YouTube, okay.
But he
Put the whole thing through
translated
translator.
auto translate, and it basically like there was like 7 or 8 slides after it, and it said like, "Here's the process to contact us. Here's the process to go through this." We were like, "What the fuck?"
That makes sense. Like, hey, you want to fucking tell us when someone's going to bomb us?
The U.S. CIA has launched a new drive to recruit informants from
Oh,
China,
I did see that. Yeah.
Iran,
If that-
and North
that's what
Korea.
this is
And we're
about.
doing
That's
it on
what this
YouTube.
is about. But
That's
all their their
crazy.
socials,
I
they
think it's
send it
great.
out.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, they send it out in all different languages. And so basically their quote was, "We want to make sure individuals and other authoritarian regimes know that we're open for business."
Others besides ours.
Yeah, not this one.
Not
Yeah.
No, but I mean, that makes sense. Like,
But
why wouldn't you do that?
it followed their latest campaign to enlist Russians in the wake of the invasion from Ukraine, which the
Good.
CIA said was a success. So
Good.
Adam sent that to me, and I was like, "Holy
It was
shit,
weird
what
for a
is that?"
minute
It was
there,
really
dude.
weird until we looked into it.
No, that makes total sense.
I only have a handful of other things. We'll kind of rapid fire them. You got anything you want
To piggyback on any
to?
of that?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I do have some rapid fire, but yeah, go ahead.
So sports,
Sports.
WNBA playoffs kick off tonight.
Oh, speaking of WNBA,
Yes.
you see
We
the
got
Merchant of
tickets.
Death is back in business. The guy that we did the trade for
Yeah,
Brittany
for
Griner.
Brittany, yeah.
Brittany Griner can't even have the fucking decency to win a championship, and the Merchant of Death's
He's-
back in
he's
business.
back at work, yeah.
Fucking great trade.
Yeah.
We lost that trade.
You gonna watch the opening game?
Need the work.
Oh, yeah.
ethic. No.
Opening game of what?
You
What are we
know
talking
I've got it on DVR, dude.
100%.
Not gonna miss that.
about? Of
shit.
the WNBA championships?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Did you see how drastically the ratings dropped off once Caitlin Clark was done?
No, but I
Big
can
time.
imagine.
They're selling playoff tickets now for $10.
Hell yeah, we should do a fireside show from there.
Dude, live
From the
just
game.
heckling
coming to
everybody.
you live from the WNBA championship.
Speaking of sports, how are you doing in fantasy?
One league I'm doing great. First place.
What about our 52 league?
last place?
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, first on the waiver wire a week. That's good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. When you got a 12 team league, there's nobody on the waiver wire.
There's 0. And then the other thing I had in sports that I thought was hilarious. I'm sure you saw this, but did you see the Coach Prime Ocho Cinco interview?
No.
Oh, dude, Adam B17. This was
the
hilarious.
Club Shay Shay After Dark or whatever.
Nightcap.
Job openings?
Yep. But you ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do right.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm trying to diversify my portfolio.
Listen to how many
I got
jobs he
about
has.
37, 11 jobs right now.
I know.
37
I'm
Lab.
proud of you.
I got a lot of them. But just
But you're really good at this because you're a really good teacher. You're a really good teacher.
right.
But can you teach what you did?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp,
I
no.
do it. I come at, matter of fact, and the kind of teacher I am, I don't do it by with words. I put the cleats on and actually show. So I come out there, I come out there, I route Travis' ass up, and then I
Travis
lock him
Hunter.
up.
Yeah, but what if I get mad that you ride the Travis up and I put my cleats on?
You can't do no 8 toes, man.
Have you heard the story about how Dion has one of his toes amputated?
Y'all ain't no good. Y'all, you know what I'm
Got him.
So Shannon Sharp and Ocho
Dude,
Cinco.
Ocho's got a lot of teeth, man.
Dude, they're cracking up, and Dion
He
turns
leaves.
his camera off and leaves.
That's funny.
I thought that was pretty good.
Did you see that
Can't do nothing with 8 toes.
Ocho Cinco and James Harrison are going to fight?
No. Why would he?
Why would you fight James Harrison?
Is he stupid?
That dude is a fucking animal.
Does he have one hand tied behind his back or something? Like, what do you?
Like, I don't know how you fight that man.
Oh my God.
There's no way that fight is actually going to happen. But apparently they're supposed to have an MMA fight. James Harrison is
Fuck
a
that.
dog.
He'll murder him, dude.
Yeah. You've seen his workouts,
I see
right?
his training stuff now. He's been retired and he's still a freak.
Still a bad motherfucker.
Dude.
I hated the Steelers, but watching
I did
that,
too,
he was
but he
like
was-
5'10"
dude.
and destroying people.
270.
Dude, just
shredded.
fucking jacked out of his mind. Those weren't show muscles. Like, he used to load up that sled to the top with 45s and just
Dude,
go
I
to
watch some of
work.
the stuff he does in his workouts now with all the balance. He gets, he'll do something stupid like 315 shoulder press, and he's got bands hanging off it with weights, so it's off balance while he's doing. Or it was incline.
Oh yeah.
And so it's off balance as he's going, and he's still got to.
You ever see the bamboo bar?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of like Shannon Sharp, I remember back when EAS was really big.
Yeah.
They had a profile on him. He was sitting there doing incline press, 405s, just repping 405. Like, oh my God.
Lightweight.
Another level, man.
Dude, like it was nothing for him. Shannon Sharp is still jacked.
Yeah. That's all I got for that stuff. The next thing I got is tech AI stuff.
Let's go real quick rundown here.
Yeah,
I talked about the Merchant of Death. Bill Gates and BlackRock are starting an AI fund, like a $37 billion AI fund.
Yeah.
And Bill Gates also made some comment that he believes AI's best use now is to wipe out all misinformation from vaccine hesitancy online.
That's horrible.
So he's going all in on AI, and he believes that AI. First of all, why are we listening to Bill Gates?
Yeah.
Why is that motherfucker involved in any
No
decisions?
idea.
God,
I don't get it. Is he a farmer? Is he a computer
Yes.
guy?
Yes.
Is he a tech guy?
Yes.
Is he
Mosquito
a climate
enthusiast.
specialist? Like what is he?
Yes.
Okay.
He is.
He's Lendo Global,
He's the
dude.
fucking smartest
He's
man
in
alive.
everything.
He's in
He's a Renaissance man.
Renaissance man.
TikTok is being sued by Texas for I can't remember what they're being sued by.
I can't remember either.
But TikTok's also being sued by a coalition of 14
By users,
states.
right? There was a bunch of users who were trying to sue TikTok.
I think it was privacy information from Texas.
Okay.
And then the 14 states that are doing this coalition lawsuit are all for like addiction, childhood addiction.
Yes, that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
So-
Did you see Google? I think DOJ has a lawsuit against Google.
They've
because
had
they're-
it for a while,
Well,
yeah.
I read something this morning. I don't know if it's progressing or if it's moving forward, but because they have a monopoly on the industry, there's certain services that they're physically or specifically combating.
Yeah.
To have them not have the monopoly.
Lena Khan's gone after them hard, as long with a lot of other corporations. That's why every single donor that is donating to Kamala Harris is advising that bitch got to go.
Yeah.
Lena Khan has to go.
Yep.
So mark my words, if she gets hired as president, she's getting rid of Lena Khan.
She gone.
The dock workers, they settled.
Did they? I didn't see that.
Temporary
Oh my God.
settlement. They got like a 60% increase.
Yeah.
in
Well, did
pay.
you
It was
see that?
ridiculous.
It's temporary till like January. They're going to
It's
go again.
January. We're
There
going to
was
strike
a
again.
but there was a meme about it. They were offered prior to their strike a 50% increase in raise.
Good for
And
them.
they went on
They
strike.
asked for something
They went on the
crazy.
strike for the extra 10%.
Yeah.
They wanted 60. It's
Well,
like,
the big thing
they
we
offered
talked
you
about,
50, and you're
the
going to
big thing they talked about too was the automation.
Yeah.
So that's still on the table. That's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
again in
Dude,
January something they're going to strike
January.
again.
You had the Chipotle, the
Yeah,
robot
yeah.
thing. So there's something called Flippy. I saw this morning. It's taking over fast food places by storm. It's this robotic company. I think it's like Miso Robotics. It's a robotic fryer. It does all the fryers inside this enclosed housing, and there's all these fast food restaurants. It's
All
taking
these
over.
workers are gone. They're gone.
It's time.
The rise of the machines.
Time for tech.
It's fucking happening.
Do it.
Also, hold on.
Yeah. Do your rundown.
I wish I would have had
premature, Adam.
I wish I would have had this video, but Hillary's basically
Fryers are taking over the world.
Hillary Clinton was on CNN basically demanding censorship
Yep.
of a lot of things. Her quote was, "We lose total control by letting social media say whatever you want, freedom of speech." She says, "We lose total control," referring to basically the elites in government. We lose total control. Not me, not
They.
you, because we have control. We can say whatever the fuck we want.
They lose
They've
control.
lost control.
They.
Is that the interview where she talked about there's going to be an October surprise because there's always an October surprise? About
Yeah,
Kamala
I don't know if that was the one.
digitally
But
starts on the dark web, and then people pick it up in the media or social media, and they take it and run with it.
She said specifically she wants to get rid of Section 230. And what 230 is basically says that whether you're Facebook, TikTok, any online platform, that you are not responsible for what your users post. So basically, Mark Zuckerberg can't be held personally responsible
are gonna have to
because
censor it.
you said something crazy.
Yeah.
But they want to get rid of that. So now Mark Zuckerberg will be personally responsible.
How the fuck is that
Which means
possible?
he'll censor
It makes zero
he'll
sense.
censor the
Which
shit
means
out
to
of it.
censor the shit out
It's
of it.
forcing the company.
But it makes zero sense.
It makes zero sense.
Has anything that's happened in the last couple of years made any sense?
Which is why it's probably going to happen.
Well, it's because they've lost control. So yeah, that. Did I have anything else? There was a Afghan national who was arrested
By the CIA?
By the CIA.
Got
They
that.
were going to basically have an election day terror plot. We don't exactly know what it was, but he was funneling arms and materials.
Shoot up a bunch of polling places.
Probably.
Yeah.
Some just cause terror, like, hey, don't go to the polls.
Don't go vote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I said he had intentions to carry out the attack with a co-conspirator who
An underage.
Underage who was a relative of the wife, and that they both would be dying as martyrs.
And the scary thing is, like, there's probably more of that going on right now.
There totally could be. We wouldn't know because
We have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one. I wonder how many arrests
In
are
the
made
entire
all the
country.
time.
You
He
know
was
what I
here
mean?
legally too. We granted him. It was like I can't remember what they call it, but basically, if you were in Afghanistan and you were helping the military, helping the U.S. government, we gave you asylum to come here. He was one of those guys. He was helping us in Afghanistan. We knew he was here. Apparently, there's a pretty good vetting process that you have to go through to be able to get that. I'll call it a
Status.
visa.
Yeah.
He was one of our assets.
He was one of our assets overseas.
Kind of like our friend Osama.
Well, anyway, so he somehow got caught up in this ISIS plot to terrorize
he
on
did.
election day.
Yeah.
See how
And
many of those are out there.
Willing to die for it.
Willing to die for it. So yeah, let's go on to tech.
Sorry.
Tech.
Adam's looking at his phone.
Yes. All the T1s, the T2s, T3s.
T1000s.
I wish I would have had my videos again because there's some decent ones. But
Yeah.
I can just talk. China, that's loud.
I'm sorry. Where were you talking about?
I don't have any videos.
What was the name of that country?
China.
China.
So they have this video. It's like a hype video of them using all these drones in war. You see this one drone comes and drops like a rocket that fucking goes into a building and blows it up.
Oh shit!
Is it AI?
I don't think so.
I hope.
It's on one of the AI, not the AI, but the tech pages that I kind of trust.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't vet a lot of these because the ones I vetted early on have been real. It looked pretty terrifying.
Have you seen the Ukrainian drone, the Dragonfire drones? They've attached them with canisters of thermite and incendiary.
Oh, God.
They burn at 5,000 degrees. They're destroying tanks with these drones with thermite on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, so yeah, machines are fighting our battles for us. So what is the point of even? I don't get where
We
we're
need to
going
eliminate
with this.
the human casualty.
Okay, but then what are we even fighting for?
Self-aware, and then we'll be fighting the machines.
If machines are eventually fighting machines and other drones, like
What's the point?
What are we doing?
Yeah, we're wasting money.
Isn't that the? I feel like that might be the point, though.
Eventually, they're going to say, "Hey, this tech is too expensive. We need to send the humans back in."
Yeah,
and then
humans
it'll
are
be
cheap.
And then whoever has the most money has the most robots.
Maybe.
Kind of weird.
I feel like China might win that one.
Yeah.
Unless we get
They've
those,
definitely got a
unless
head
we get
start.
those lithium and cobalt mines. Now we're talking.
We need more storms.
Now it's making sense.
You heard it, Doug
Yeah.
Emhoff. Send more hurricanes.
Come on, Dougie.
Fuck.
Dry ice.
Yeah, this isn't as spectacular. You can't see the drones in action. What do you got?
A big one is Tesla tonight. Will be revealing its new robo-taxi.
Yes.
So it's called We Robot. They're going to be unveiling it. There is no video of it.
Really?
The concept of it has been kept completely secret.
They're like little two-seaters, right? Or they haven't shown anything.
They haven't shown anything, but what they're expecting it to, well, they've shown a couple mock-ups previously,
Okay,
but
that's
where
maybe
they're
what
at
I
now. So it'll be live stream on X for anybody who wants to see it. It's 7 p.m. Pacific tonight. But basically it is going to be two-door, no steering wheel, no gas pedal. It's going to be fully autonomous. And the big deal with like the Teslas now is they call them fully autonomous, but it still has to have a driver aware, paying attention to what's going on. These will be 100% fully autonomous.
So it's like Waymo.
Like Waymo.
I think, yes, that's exactly it. Only there will be no steering wheel or gas pedal,
There is
which
there is one in the Waymo.
I don't know how. What
I feel like I need to
what if
jump
there's an
in.
issue and you need to like jump in and take over?
I need to jump in and take over.
So it may be two-seaters, I don't know, but everything I read just said that it's a Cybertruck inspired two-door vehicle. I don't know how many seats, but it sounds like it's gonna kind of be Cybertruck inspired. So I'm imagining it's gonna. I feel like the Cybertruck. I feel like it's futuristic, but it's like 80s futuristic. Like, I don't feel like it's
like
2024
futuristic. In the
futuristic.
second Back to the Future movie.
Yeah, or in like Total Recall.
Yeah.
Like that's what they were driving around Mars
Absolutely.
on. Like I feel like he dropped the ball on the futuristic part.
It does, like he wants to go to Mars and colonize Mars. I feel like it's a Mars vehicle. It makes sense.
A Mars rover.
Yeah, I see it.
Damn you, Cohagen. Yeah, so that's going to happen tonight. That's a big deal. Kind of keep an eye on that.
Well, China also, speaking of China drones, they have a drone now that runs on hydrogen. Since I don't have the thing here, I can't link it, but it had a crazy range on it.
Yeah.
Runs completely on hydrogen, and completely unrelated, Japan made this groundbreaking discovery of some material. Again, I don't have a link, so I can't remember. I'll have to remember. But basically, hydrogen with this new material they infuse in this machine regenerates nonstop. They've been regenerating hydrogen for 30
I think we talked about that
for 3,000
shows
straight
ago.
hours.
They had a rocket that didn't need to refuel. It could go 18,000 miles an hour, and that was going to be the whole future of space travel. Was this deal? And it was, I want to say it was theorized by like Einstein or something.
This isn't the rocket, but it's like the engine
The
that
fuel
would
source.
power it.
Yeah.
And like they said, it's been running for 3,000 miles straight. No fucking as of they wrote this 3,000 miles. Or 3,000 hours. I'm sorry, 3,000 hours.
Incredible.
So what's funny is I had an article linked for Toyota has a new hydrogen fuel cell. So we talked about hydrogen engines and that kind of being the way of the future. And then
that's a fleshlight.
And it doubles as one.
Where have I seen that font before?
So anyway, but the whole reason that we didn't go that route when we went the electric route was we had talked about was the infrastructure of the refill stations. So Toyota unveils its swappable hydrogen fuel cell. So instead of having to fuel up at a station, you now have a swappable. It looks like a giant AA battery.
It does, yeah.
So that's kind of what they're working on right now. Don't need to worry about charging stations. You just need the battery.
It's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty neat.
What? I wonder what kind of.
I don't know what type of hazards come with that.
Hydrogen
the safety.
I feel like it's explosive. It's
got to be.
Like it's.
I feel like I've heard something about a hydrogen bomb before.
You know, I feel like maybe that could be a problem.
Yeah, they should call it the H battery.
The H
or the H bomb.
I was gonna say, you mean like the
Hiroshima?
Well, you know,
the Hiroshima fuel cell.
Anyway, the concept is pretty cool. They're going to keep moving forward with this. Toyota's kind of the front runner in that right now, which I think they were the front runner in the hydrogen stuff initially as well, because they had delivery trucks that were hydrogen and they had refuelable stations, and that's what went under.
But picture, so Toyota, Japanese company, Japan just got this infinite hydrogen machine.
Yep, I think that's kind of where everybody's pushing.
I'm still going to be a gas vehicle guy. I'm sorry.
Right.
Give me the
until it's
ground up
banned.
dinosaurs. That's what I want.
Tammy just bought that electric vehicle, and I'll tell you what, it's fun to drive.
Oh, I'm sure.
If you just sit there and gun it, it's like
0
you're
to
a fucking
60
rocket
in
ship.
half a second.
Like nothing.
Yeah. I got one more. You got any more?
I do, but you kind of need to see it. Well, China is opening up its first. It's all in China. Everything's happening in Asia.
China and Japan.
They're opening up their first AI hospital. Like everything is AI.
Like an Idiocracy.
Like the med bays, like in the futuristic.
Yeah.
You guys seen that bit of Idiocracy, that movie where the whole hospital's
the documentary?
Yeah, well, it's becoming a documentary.
It's ahead of its time, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's the whole front desk is run by AI, and people walk up and it's just like it's a pill dispenser. That's all it fucking does.
That's probably it's going to be something to that effect. Like you're going to be able to be diagnosed.
They already have those little delivery cart drones like in hospitals. It just brings you your meds.
You're going to see an AI doctor who will probably be able to diagnose your condition pretty easily.
There's one at
fast
at Fashion Square. I was down there maybe a month
dispenser?
ago. No, it's a big old cube. And it's an AI doctor.
No shit.
And you can go in and sit down, and it does a body scan. It's
It's got a body scan. I was gonna say because WebMD fucked a lot of people up for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know that AI healthcare is necessarily.
No, but we were there
I hope
maybe
it's
a
better.
month ago.
Because WebMD was always like, cancer, you're gonna die.
Everything's cancer.
Everything's cancer, and you're gonna
finger cut on your little.
Yep,
you're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
Say your goodbyes.
Yeah, WebMD fucking ruined everything. My last bit of tech, and I wish you could see this. I just labeled it stroke suit, but it's a suit that
jerks you off.
I was gonna say
it might.
That's crazy. Where would I buy one though?
Wow,
it might. It could. But basically, it works with the electrical impulses in your body. So if you've had a stroke and you're immobile, you have a lot of deficiencies, or you have Parkinson's, like they can't walk.
Tremors
you put this fucking suit on, and now all of a sudden you're just walking. Like
really?
Yeah, it completely it does something with your nervous system that allows you to walk.
So that becomes like their daily wear, like their clothes. Or do they wear clothes over it? Is it thick? I just imagine like a wetsuit.
The video that it shows, it's not even that. It's almost like an exoskeleton, a smaller framed exoskeleton. So yeah, you put it on over your clothes.
So it kind of has articulating joints and
yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, you put this thing on, it reacts with the your body's electrical system, and you can walk.
You become a robot.
Cool shit.
So the last one I have to kind of piggyback on that is I did not know this, but apparently Neuralink has competition. So this company,
I did see this Australian company,
BlackRock Neurotech.
Oh god, here we go.
B20 out.
Don't get it. Nobody get this BlackRock.
It's called BlackRock.
Is it affiliated with BlackRock?
I don't know. I gotta look and see. I don't think it is.
Don't fucking get it. Why has it got the 80s music?
Makes it fun. Put this in your brain.
BCI exhibit. So this is James Johnson in this video. This guy is paralyzed. He's an artist. All this art he's doing with his mind. He's just moving the cursor with his eyes.
What does that mean? Opening
So this is when
That's
this
his art
exhibit is art exhibit. Yeah.
Okay.
It was in 2023. So Adam, you can kill that.
That's cool.
So this is a breakthrough in neural technology is taking shape in Salt Lake City, Utah, where BlackRock Neurotech has implanted brain chips in 50 individuals. These implants, known as the Neuroport Array, aim to transform the lives of those suffering from paralysis, blindness, deafness, and depression by allowing them to control robotic arms and electric wheelchairs with their minds.
So robotic arms, this could, in theory, jerk you off.
That's what I was wondering. That's kind of where mine went first.
Do you have to be paralyzed to get that?
No. So the co-founder envisions these brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs, which we talked about before with Neuralink's second patient, becoming as common as pacemakers, vastly improving independence and mobility for people with serious disabilities. But it's 100 pin. They show the implant square on there. There's 100 pins in there that reacts with the neurons in your brain.
It's fucking crazy. Like, speaking of Neuralink, they're coming out with their next thing. They just got FDA approval for blind sight. Basically restores people's vision.
No shit.
I wonder if it's just the images or if it actually does the color.
I don't know. There's a company in Australia that's doing something very similar, but it's a bionic eye.
Oh, okay.
So I would imagine
they just like wired into your optic nerve.
That's
and you can see again. It's crazy.
It's nuts.
It's an amazing world.
That's all I got.
Terrifying.
That's all I got for.
You don't get killed by the hurricanes.
Amazing. Yeah. Hopefully your tech robot is waterproof.
It's got to be. All right. Moving on.
All I got is the end, man.
All right. A little fireside segment here.
Yeah. So we're gonna do something a little different for the fireside today. Something more of a little bit of a tribute. If Adam's got it. So in the last 2 weeks, we've lost 3 of our fire department family members. Adam Cothran, who is the next slide, Adam. John Thomason Sr. and retired Deputy Chief Don Williams. And so we just wanted to use this moment just to kind of use this segment as to pay a little tribute to these 3 members of the Phoenix Fire Department.
Yeah, very sad. All 3 of them also have family on the job.
Yes, they do. So thoughts and well wishes go out to the family members and let them know that we're thinking about them, and
absolutely
just wanted to make sure to share that.
Tough times for everybody. Yeah,
absolutely. Sad note to end on.
Yeah.
But episode 41
in the books.
We'll be back for 42.
We got a short weekend.
Yeah, short weekend.
All right.
We'll be back soon.
All right.
Thanks, guys.